Well, apparently I've not been clear enough about why I've been taking a poo-poo on the Canon EOS R. It's time to clear all that up and more here on the Morning Jolts. So look here, guys. I think to a certain extent, I have not been communicating my position very well on the Canon EOS R. I have made several videos about the new Canon mirrorless camera in recent weeks, and I feel like up to this point, I have not communicated my position the way I should have been the entire time. And for that, I do apologize. I don't think that it was necessarily intentional, but at the same time, I also feel like every single bit of criticism that it has received, it has been well-deserved. The Canon EOS R is Canon's first foray into a full-frame mirrorless camera system. They introduced the brand new R mount with this particular camera, and, man, I just don't know that it was necessary, like, at all. The Canon EF mount was already one of the biggest full-frame mounts on the market. Certainly much bigger than the Sony E mount, which was originally intended only for APS-C, and then they just sort of adapted a full-frame sensor underneath that thing. But at roughly 54 millimeters, this EF mount was not a horrible option if they just wanted to keep that. So, in my personal opinion, the Canon EOS R, that R mount, it was just kind of a cash grab. It was a reason for them to create a new, cooler sounding name, perhaps. I don't really know what the reasoning was, but the new mount was, in my opinion, mainly a cash grab. They could have easily have created new lenses that were EF mount and been perfectly fine. It's not like they couldn't have created the vast majority of what they have announced so far or what they have on their quote-unquote roadmap. And I think just in general, the Canon EOS R was a hype cycle product. It was not necessarily meant to be revolutionary or anything. It was more or less a way for them to go, hey, we've got full frame mirrorless. Hey, we've got a brand new spanking mount. Hey, we've got brand new lenses for this mount. Hey, look at us. Hey, we're still here. Hey. Now, if that's not bad enough, I personally genuinely think that if you're just wanting to do stills photography and you want to stick with the Canon system, there's already a ton of cameras that they have, DSLR or not, that would be better suited right here, right now. Now, when we dig down into the video side of things, the Canon EOS R is basically just a glorified M50, which I am shooting on right now. The Canon EOS R is probably, in my opinion, about $500 or $600 overvalued or overpriced, depending on how you look at it. Now, you might ask, why are you saying that it's a glorified M50? Well, because really the only thing that the EOS R brings to the table in terms of video is the full frame sensor. But after they get done doing all their hatchet work on the camera, it's really even less than an APS-C sensor size. At a 1.7 to 1.8 crop factor, I mean, APS-C is 1.5/1.6. So what exactly are you paying for with this camera? My personal thoughts are that you're basically paying for a vanity project. You're paying for them to have the ability to say, hey, we've got a mirrorless camera. And that's about it. There are other cameras that Canon has already made that are going to take way better pictures where you already have access to all of Canon's EF glass, a lot of which you can find absolutely dirt cheap. And as far as the video features are concerned, basically everything that you're going to get from the Canon EOS R, you can already get in the Canon M50. And the EOS M50 costs you $699, and that's including a M-mount kit lens, but for an extra $200, you can buy their EOS EF to EOS M adapter, which is $200, and so now you're up to $899, which means you are still $1,400 under the cost of the EOS R, and that means you've got $1,400 to spend as much money as you want on EF glass. And if I was anyone, I mean literally, if I was to advise anyone that was actually considering the EOS R, I would be like, don't do it. But that's not saying that it's a bad camera. I'm not even saying that it's not going to take great photographs. I'm not even saying that it's going to have shitty video. What I am saying is that for its price point, it's not worth it. There are other options that not only match, but far exceed what the EOS R can do. Why are you going to spend $2,300 on a beta project, a vanity project? Essentially, this was Canon's way of going, look, guys, I know we've been flagging off here quite a bit, and I apologize for all that, but we just want to say that we took the mirror out of the camera, and now we have a mirrorless camera. Is that cool? Nah, man, it's not cool. It's not cool. You know why it's not cool, Canon? Because you are severely overcharging. You are developing a new mount that was completely unnecessary. You're now charging hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for adapters. And to be perfectly honest with you, I hope the Chinese rip you the hell off and make all of those adapters for like $23. Because that's probably exactly what it costs you to make them. I mean, you could have easily charged $50 for any of those adapters and probably still have made a decent profit. The two major saving graces for Canon at this point is A, their color, and B, their dual pixel autofocus. But with all these announcements, all of these crazy ass announcements, this has been the wildest frigging year I have ever seen for cameras. I have never seen the likes of which of so many cameras coming out, so many new things being introduced into the marketplace all at one time. It's not like it's been, you know, here's something, a few months later, something else. And then, I mean, it has just been whoosh. I mean, we've got camera companies like Fujifilm and Panasonic and all of the, I mean, it is just insane how much stuff is being released here lately. And we're still waiting on Sony to, you know, do whatever it is that they're going to do, which I'm sure is going to be pretty damn impressive. But that's the point. That is the whole thing about the Canon EOS R. It is not that it is a bad camera. It is not that the technology isn't intriguing. It's not that the mount isn't interesting. It's, is it necessary? Is it overpriced? Had the EOS R actually came in at, say, like the Fujifilm X-T3 pricing, I would have not said two flippin' words. I would have kept my friggin' mouth shut. I wouldn't have said anything. But the fact that this particular camera is not in line with its pricing makes it a perfect target for lots and lots of well-deserved ridicule. And I genuinely think that, you know, in 2 years when this thing actually gets down to its real price, all these other camera companies are already going to outdo it, far exceed it, put it in the dirt by leaps and bounds, time and time again. And like I said, the only saving grace for not only this camera, but for Canon in general right now is that color and that dual pixel autofocus. Well, and the fact that they have a shit ton of cheap ass lenses. You know, I've said it before, and I guess it's worth repeating here again. I am not opposed to any single solitary camera company coming out with any product whatsoever. It just adds more to the marketplace. When it doesn't sell, when it's overpriced and the market has to make a correction and then it starts to tank in price, more and more people are going to go, okay, now it's worth it. Oh, now it's worth it. But I'm telling you, this one in particular is not flying off the shelves at all. I don't care how much Peter McKinnon shills for it. I don't care how much people try to give you these positive spins on a shitty camera. It's a shitty camera for the price. And you guys have to start making that distinction. Nothing is not worth having. Nothing is just absolute trash. It is the price point that determines whether or not it's it's pretty good for the price. You get quite a bit of features for that price. Or on the flip side of that, it's like, oh, damn, I ain't never spending that amount of money for what you get. That's the distinction you have to make. Canon didn't put out a shitty camera. They put out a shitty camera because it is not in line with the price. The feature set's not there. The capabilities aren't there. The crop factor is horrendous. All of these things devalue what it's really worth. And then when they insult you with that massive price, that's where it all ends up. Is, hey, look, I know we really screwed you guys over, but we're also going to super duper screw you over, charge you way more than what we think it's even worth to us. But, you know, the sad part is you keep buying our shit, so here you go. Lap it up again, fanboys. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you all today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, don't forget to thumbs up the video. And if you really liked it, consider subscribing to the channel. It's been nice having a few new people around. Thanks again for stopping here at the Morning Jolt on the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I'm going to see you guys again on the next one. Peace!